Let's get into our top 5 Phillies wins of the year. So here's our top 5.
This goes from 5 to 1, right?
This goes from 5 to
just
1.
making
Yes.
sure I
So
don't
our
click the wrong
number
one.
5 game takes us all the way back to April 4th. And the potential NLDS matchup that we are awaiting upon. It was a 3-2 Friday night win over the LA Dodgers. Let's go all the way back to the 7th game of the season.
That's
it was
the
Jesus
Luzardo game, right?
What's that?
Yeah, Luzardo, yeah.
Jesus Luzardo's first start in Citizens Bank Park. They were wearing the awful blue and yellow jerseys for the first time that year. And it was against, at that point, Andrew, the Dodgers were 8-0 coming into that game.
That's right.
So there was a little bit of feel of like, can the Phillies be the first team to knock off the undefeated Dodgers? Luzardo was excellent. All game, he was really, really good. And we remember how good he was for that first 2 months of the year. Like absolutely Cy Young candidate type of pitching. There was a situation with 2 outs in the 7th inning where he faced a first and third and struck out Kike Hernandez to end his inning with 7 strong innings. And I remember him being like exuberant, like Hulk.
I remember that.
Remember
yeah,
that?
man. Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it's game 7. This guy's got some passion.
Yeah.
And
Loved
so
it.
he gets out of that inning. Phillies lead 3-0. We go to the top of the 9th, and Jordan Romano did his best to lose this game. He gave up a home run to Tommy Edmonds to make it 3-2. He then proceeded to walk Will Smith, who was the tying run. The Dodgers pinch run with Chris Taylor for Will Smith. And just when it felt like all hope was lost, Max Muncy strikes out for a strike him out, throw him out double play to end the game. JT guns out Chris Taylor to end the game. Remember, they had to review it. They went to review for a while.
I do remember that,
and that was how the game ended. Phillies won 3-2, and I was like, man, this is the 7th game of the season, and I am juiced on a Friday night.
Yeah.
In early April.
Yeah.
That was a lot of. I remember. Do you remember that game pretty distinctly?
Oh, 100%.
That was a fun game.
I was out at a pub with a buddy having a couple pops.
Okay, a couple soda pops,
and we were watching it. We were watching it on the TV at the pub, and yeah, we were like, "Wow, this is great."
That was a lot of fun. So
awesome game.
That game is the only. I think that's the only like really early season game that we're going to get into, but I do remember that one being a lot of fun. Futz asks, was that a sweep? I think they won 2 of 3.
I think it was 2 of 3.
I think they won because the next night
won
was
the
the
first
night,
2, right?
I think the next day was the day. Remember they hammered Glasnow?
Yeah.
Castellanos hit the grand slam as soon as Glasnow came out.
Yeah.
I think that was that.
Did they lose the first game and then win the next 2? Or
I think they won the first 2 and then dropped the third one. Oh no, I'm sorry. They won the first game. Lost the second game.
And then that was the tiebreaker.
And then they won the third game, yes.
Yeah.
And that was the first series win of the year against the Dodgers. All right, number 4. The number 4 win of the year takes us to September 8th.
Ooh.
And one of Aaron Nola's 2 best starts of the year. Listen, we know Aaron Nola has not been very good this year. Very up and down. Has missed a lot of time this season due to injury. And the Phillies needed this one bad. Not because they were... close with the Mets at the time. I believe they were 7-up heading into this game.
Yeah.
But after being swept out in Citi Field, the Mets shrunk the Phillies' lead to just 4 games in the National League East. The Phillies, and in part because the Mets were playing some bad baseball, made it a 7-game lead once again. But the Phillies had an opportunity to crush the Mets in this series. And it started off with the vet who was struggling in Aaron Nola versus the rook, who was pitching great at the time, in Nolan McLean. And I think it was important for them to just go and split this series and hold serve. Well, they did a whole hell of a lot more than that. This game was the springboard to the Phillies sweeping out the Mets and really putting a stamp on the division. Aaron Nola not only matched Nolan McLean, he surpassed him. He threw 6 shutout innings. His command was elite. The fastball had life. And the Phillies, when they needed a start in a big way, especially considering they didn't score against McLean, he was really good. He went 5 1/3, gave up the 1 earned run. Aaron Nola gave a vintage Aaron Nola start. Not only kept them in the game, but was the reason they won the game. They win this game 1-0. It propels them to go on to a sweep. They win 6 straight. They run away with the National League East, and they do it in pretty convincing fashion. This was an incredible performance from Aaron Nola.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Awesome game, 1-0 victory. And you know me, I love low-scoring games. I love pitcher's duels. This was an awesome game. All right, the number 3 win of the year. We've talked about this one before. It goes back to August 19th on Tuesday night. The Phillies beat the Seattle Mariners 6-4 thanks to a JT Realmuto go-ahead home run in the 8th inning. It started with a masterclass from Christopher Sanchez. 6 1/3 innings of 2-run ball. He struck out a career-tying 12 batters in this game and was just absolutely carving up the Mariners. I believe he struck out at Eugenio Suarez 3 times in this game, and he was just excellent. But he comes out of the game after 6 1/3, and Orion Kerkering, who had struggled with inherited runners up to this point, struggles again with inherited runners. The Mariners end up tying the game in the 7th. But in the bottom of the 8th, JT hits the go-ahead 2-run home run. The Phillies nail it down. They win 6-4. And this was part of a stretch of 9 series victories in 10 series. The only loss was the sweep at the hand of the Mets heading into late August and early September. That was the only series they lost in that 10-series stretch. But in that time, they also won series against the eventual AL West winners in the Mariners, the NL Central and best record in baseball winners, the Milwaukee Brewers, the NL West winners in the LA Dodgers, and a series win over the Braves, who played much better in the second half, and the Royals, who at the time were still fighting for a wild card spot. This was an important series victory for the Phillies, and this 6-4 win was really, really important in doing so. Let's get to win number 2. And the number 2 win of this season is the night that the Phillies clinched the National League East for the second time in 2 years. September 15th, a 6-5 win over the Dodgers. Had to wait an extra inning, wait a little bit longer to get that clinch, but the Phillies end up winning in extra innings 6-5 in LA. Now, it took extra innings because Joan Duran ended up blowing a save, but they win 6-5. They ended up scoring early off of Alex Vesia, who was the opener in this game, but Emmett Sheehan was really, really good. He shut them down for the most part for the bulk of 6 innings, and it was just 3-1 after 6, but the Phillies ended up scoring 3 in the 7th and 1 in the 8th off of that Dodgers bullpen that we've talked about. But Joan Duran blows the save on an Andy Pages home run. The Phillies are able to manufacture a run in the 10th after the Dodgers intentionally walk Bryce Harper. Harrison Bader steals third. JT Realmuto with a sac fly to take the lead. They lock things down in the 9th. A little bit of concern. David Robertson walks a couple of hitters, but he gets out of the jam, and the Phillies win this game 6-5, and they go on to win the National League East for the second consecutive year. All right, the number 1 win of the season. Now, Andrew, I've said this probably 45 times since this game has happened. I think we probably know what the game is, but do you have an idea of what the number 1 win of the season might be, in my opinion, for the Phillies?
Is it the Schwarber game?
It is not the Schwarber game. As much fun as that was, the Phillies beat up on the Braves so bad that night that I think that was in hand. To me, the number 1 Phillies win of the year, the most impressive win the Phillies had this season, was on Labor Day, September 1st, a 10-8 win over the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
If you remember, Andrew, the Phillies went down 4-0 in this game after 1 inning. Taijuan
I do
Walker
remember.
Was not good. And I think they were down 5-0 after 2, and it was 6-1 at one point. They had the weird day off in between because the Brewers wanted to play on Labor Day, so they played Monday, off Tuesday, played Wednesday, played Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
The Phillies could have given up and said, whatever. I don't need this game. It is what it is. We'll come back on Wednesday, regroup. We'll find a way to try to win this series. But instead, multiple times, they battled back to win this game 10-8. And it was the gutsiest performance of the year from the Phillies. Harrison Bader, I believe, had 4 hits in that game, including the game winner, was excellent defensively. Bryce Harper had a big day. This was one of those games that just kind of proved to me like, man, this Phillies team might be a little bit different. This Phillies team is not going quietly into that good night. They don't roll over and die at any point. They are a team that could beat you any given day. And by the way, this was coming off a Sunday Night Baseball loss to the Braves, where they did not finish the game until late in the evening. Had to get on a plane, go to Milwaukee, and play, I believe it was a 3 o'clock start on Labor Day that day. Maybe it was 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock our time, 3 o'clock there. But yeah, they were down 4-0, 5-1. They made it 5-3. Then they made it 6-5. The Brewers tied it up 6-6. The Phillies made it 8-6. The Brewers tied it up 8-8, and then the Phillies scored the 2 runs in the 9th. Trey Turner, 2 for 5. Bryce Harper, 2 for 5 with the home run. Brandon Marsh with a 4-hit night. Harrison Bader, I apologize. Harrison Bader had 3 hits, but had 3 RBI. Bryson Stott with a 2-hit night. A collective effort from this team to pick up 14 hits, score 10 runs, and get after Abner Uribe in the 9th, who has been so good all year. This, to me, was the best win of the Phillies season, hands down.